Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I'll be showing you how I built this ultra compact gaming PC. First, we start with how I tried to make this low-end motherboard look high-end. I swapped out these spring pins holding down the chipset heatsink with standoffs so that I can mount a platform for modifications. This platform allows me to add on a 3D printed heatsink. This fake heatsink is purely for aesthetics and does not improve cooling performance. Some blue tack was used to attach it to the platform. I then did the same for the RAM sticks, giving them fake copper heatsinks. I designed an I/O cover that was done in a similar fashion with slight differences in the finishing process. Now we're getting somewhere, but I'm not quite done yet. The next thing I did was design a cover plate that would hide the motherboard and CPU power cables. This plate was printed in separate parts and glued together using super glue and baking soda. For those that don't know, sprinkling baking soda on wet super glue almost dries it up instantly. An added benefit is the baking soda adds volume to the glue joint, and you can build this up in layers to achieve an incredibly strong glue joint. After some sanding, the part was sprayed with multiple layers of filler primer. A hairdryer was used to speed up the drying process in between coats. Matte black paint was applied after the primer had cured. This was also how I made the I/O cover. These parts were given a metallic finish by brushing on small amounts of copper paint. I masked off some parts of the GPU and treated the exposed parts with the same brushing effect. With the main mods covered, let's move on to the case. The motherboard tray is cut out from 6mm plywood with threaded holes for standoffs. The main frame of the computer was made from 20mm thick iron bark. This divot was chiseled out for the GPU tabs, and this channel was done using a drill and chisel to fit the PCIe extension cable. Additional holes were drilled and tapped as mounting points for the cable cover plate and push button. The push button is mounted onto a bracket with the bronze finish applied. After the power cables were plugged in, the motherboard tray can be slotted into the frame. The mounting points for the PCIe extension was relocated by using these brackets. This allowed me to insert the extension's socket into the solid wood while still being able to screw it down properly. Here you can see how the tabs on the GPU will be held between the frame and the rear panel. Another printed bracket was used to secure the top of the GPU. This will be the power supply for this system. Don't worry, what you're seeing is not a rusty power supply. It has just been painted the same way as the other components. The stock fan was swapped out with a Noctua model to significantly reduce operational noise. During the swap, the rubber feet on the Noctua was damaged by the threads on the PSU. I recommend you take these feet off before you install into a similar PSU. Now comes the challenge of mounting the Flex PSU onto the rear panel. During my previous build, I made the mistake of designing mounting holes too close to an edge of an plywood. That caused some chip out, which was undesirable. To avoid that this time, I designed a mounting plate that would sandwich the rear panel to the PSU. This avoids drilling really near an edge in plywood. An additional screw was used to secure the PSU to the motherboard tray. After the cables were plugged in and managed, the final step was to add some rubber pads on the bottom of the case. Now, it's time to sit back and enjoy some B-roll. The noise level of the power supply is still a little loud for my liking, although it will be much less noticeable as I plan to mount this on my living room ceiling next to my projector. I would like to explore solutions on how to further reduce the noise of a flex power supply in my next video. This concludes the build. Please drop a like if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.